Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name is Chanel and I am a work from home vlogger living in the Hudson Valley, New York. Today's video is a little bit different. I did one of these maybe like a year or two ago, but I incorporated it into a work from home vlog. If you see me looking down or looking back at my notes here, I had to write a few things down for this video. So first things first, I've been working from home for 5 years now. I started in 2020. I cannot believe it's been 5 years. Like, if you had told me before COVID that I would be working from home, I would laugh at you because I'm very much a people person. I love to be outdoors. I hate being indoors. I'm a social butterfly. I'm very outgoing. I just hate being secluded to one area, which is what I'm doing now. But I really love it. It's really great. I work in utilization management for a health insurance company here in New York. I actually started off working in contact tracing, working from home for the state of North Carolina. I really loved that job. It was very flexible. Even though we were working from home, I was able to talk to so many different people from all over the state of North Carolina. I worked with two of my friends as well. So we were all doing the same thing, contact tracing. It was really nice, but around the time that I moved to New York, which is in 2022, I moved here and they had at first told me that it would be okay for me to work from New York because I was in the same time zone, of course. And then literally maybe like a month after living here, something happened. I got this email about moving out of state and how they could not support me anymore and I had to find a new job. So that really sucked. I was really hoping to continue working from home, but I was able to go back to ophthalmology, which I was an ophthalmic technician. I don't know if you guys have watched those videos, anyone, but I do have some of those on my channel. I was an ophthalmic technician. So I did go back to work for that for I think about a month while I looked for another work from home job. Funny thing, I literally applied for the job I'm working at now, that I got my work from home job, while I was working as an ophthalmic assistant for this hospital that I worked at. I do not forget the day and the time. I told him I had to take a little break and I literally walked down the hall to a side of the floor that no one was ever in, and I got on the phone. I did my phone interview and they were like, okay, can we schedule you for a Zoom interview? And they scheduled me for a Zoom interview. I think it was a few days later, maybe within a week. I can't really remember, as that was 3 years ago. But after I did the Zoom interview, I got the job and I quit that ophthalmology job within, I gave them like 2 weeks. Yeah, I gave them 2 weeks. They were super sad. I was sad to go, but y'all, I was literally doing all the work there, all the work. I didn't even need to train because I had already known everything when I was an ophthalmic technician before. So you know how people are when they find out that you don't need training, how they try to throw you out on the floor and make you do all the work. So that's what was going on, because I would have loved to stay. I would have loved to receive my certification to work in the surgery center, assisting the doctors with the cataracts and everything. I would have loved to do that, but I just could not stay at that particular place. And when this opened up, it was an opportunity I could not pass up, so I took it. Fast forward to 2025, and we've been working from home since 2020. October of this year will make a full year technically, but since October of 2020, I've been working from home, aside from that little hiccup at the eye hospital. But it's been really nice. Aside from being indoors and not having that much patient or member or coworker contact, like I said, I'm a social butterfly, so it's been really crazy to have to be stuck inside all day. And my roommates, they work from outside, so I don't see them, which is also kind of nice, because if I had to see them, if they also worked from home and I had to see them while working from home and then turn around and live day to day seeing them again and just seeing them 24/7, I would go mad. I would go crazy. But we move. So, and this is actually my last year here in this apartment. I don't know if I said that, but this is not that type of vlog. I mean, that type of video. This is not that type of video. So let's stay focused here. So it's been really nice. Aside from separating work from home life, that gets a little bit tough and difficult, but I really genuinely thoroughly enjoy it. I also enjoy only filling up my gas tank like once every 3 weeks, if even that. That is the number one reason why I'm continuing to stay in from home. And also another pro of working from home is being able to take my work with me anywhere. Only in the United States though. That's what sucks. It's only in the US. However, I am able to go home and visit my family, my mom, my siblings, for however long I want to, because I can take my work anywhere as long as I'm still in the US. And we do have locations. My particular job company, I'm not gonna say who, do not ask. If you know, you know, don't ask where I work. My particular company does have offices all over the US. So we do have one in Long Island City, which you've seen on my channel before. We do have one back home in Charlotte, North Carolina as well. So that's nice. So if I choose to work in a state, there is somewhere I can go to and take my laptop to and work from one of our locations, or I can just work from wherever I'm at, my mom's house, friend's house, wherever I'm at, as long as I'm in a secluded area, you know, HIPAA, all that crap. So I do like that. But let's get into the nitty gritty of how I actually landed the job. So pretty much there are 3 things I'm gonna mention about how I got my job. We're gonna stick it to that. I was gonna do about 5 to 10, but I was like, we're not gonna make this video super duper long. If you guys want a round 2, I will create one for you. Top 3 things. Number 1, start applying to jobs. This sounds so stupid because it's like, well, duh, how else am I gonna get the job than applying? But I'm talking about people who don't apply to jobs because they feel like they're not qualified, because they've never worked from home, or they haven't worked in the healthcare field, they haven't done this or that, but you've done other things. Even if you've only been a cashier, you can transfer that to whatever job you're applying for. If you worked customer or face-to-face with someone, customers, patients, whatever, you can use that for whatever job you're applying to. And then the whole degree thing, I do understand that. A lot of roles do require a degree. My job, they would like you to have an associate's, but do I have an associate's? No, I don't, and I still got the job, okay? I'm just saying, don't let degrees stop you. Start applying to these jobs. And I had never worked in the health insurance, healthcare field like this before at all. I was always in doctor's offices or at a hospital for a little bit. And then before that, my first job was at a clothing store. I worked at Walmart, I worked at Target, I was a pharmacy tech. I never worked with health insurance or anything like that. But there were instances, for example, at the pharmacy where we would receive patient requests and we would have to check the insurance just to see if it was on file and it was active. It was literally like a 5-second task that you would do just to check their insurance, but I didn't do anything else with that. But I did mention that on my application. I mentioned that on my resume as well. These are the things that you guys need to mention when you're applying to jobs. You may think that you're not gonna get it because it's not to a T what they're looking for or what they say they want on the job description word for word. Skills are transferable. I'm just saying, start applying for these jobs. How I got my job when I was applying was I applied for the position on Indeed. It was a temp position. It wasn't even for the actual company. It was a temp company they were working with. They don't do that anymore. They hire straight through the company because whatever the heck reason why. But I applied on Indeed and that's how I got it. Now, would I recommend Indeed these days? Kind of yes and no, because there are a lot of scams on Indeed, like a lot of scams on Indeed. I'm talking like you look at the job description, you look at the company name, it looks legit. It looks like it's an actual job that is real, but it turns out it's not. And these people are trying to get your information for whatever reason, for whatever that they're trying to do to you with your money or your name or your social security, whatever. Please. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If it says that they're paying you hundreds of dollars a day, it's probably a lie. Just be smart. Just be smart. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But I liked Indeed. I still recommend it. That's just me. It's free and it's a place where jobs post most of their jobs when they're hiring. So another website I did try was Flex Jobs. Now I'm looking at my notes here. Flex Jobs is a good way to find remote jobs. It's all remote. All their jobs on Flex Jobs are remote. Every last single job. They have jobs for the US, jobs from outside of the US, all remote jobs. It is, I believe, and they always say that, and every time I look, it says it's the #1 remote jobs board or website to use to find remote jobs, but don't hold me to that. Anyways, the only downside to Flex Jobs is it's not free. It's $14 a month, or you can pay $2.99 for a trial for 2 weeks. I did the trial. I did find some jobs, but I was not too keen on them. I don't know. Flex Jobs was just, I feel like their jobs were more serious when it comes to what they were looking for. Again, like I said earlier, don't let it scare you. Apply to what you want to apply for because you never know, but that was just my personal opinion. I liked Indeed because I just felt like it was more chillax, more laid back when it came to just applying for the job. So There are a few other remote sites that I have looked at, one was remote.co, remote.com, and weworkremotely.com. I hear about those quite often. I haven't really looked into them, so I can't really say what I think if you should use them. But again, I will link those below if y'all are interested in looking at those websites. Number 2, stop thinking you need to have job experience. This goes hand in hand with what I was talking about earlier. My position started off as a referral specialist, and I've never worked in that field of work. I was a pharmacy tech for a little bit, then I was an ophthalmic technician for a little bit. I was a cashier. I was an apparel customer service rep, whatever, at the clothing store I was at. And I love this that I wrote this down a little while ago. The key to landing a job you don't have experience in is making the experience you already have relate to the position that you're applying for. For example, one of the questions I was asked during my interview was if I had to meet deadlines in my previous position. We didn't have deadlines exactly. Not at the pharmacy, not in the ophthalmology world. We didn't have deadlines. We had to meet. You just saw your patients, worked them up, blah, blah, blah. We didn't have deadlines exactly, but I did have to call certain patients to just update them on the prescriptions or with their glasses or contacts, whatever. And I kind of said that, that was kind of a sort of a deadline in that way. By the end of the day, technically that's a deadline. So I was able to answer the question in that way, and the interviewer was satisfied with that question. Just take whatever experience or whatever little things and categorize it toward, make it compatible with the position you're applying for. It works. But disclaimer, don't use this as a way to lie about your skills or experience. Don't do that. We don't want to be lying and making up things and being like, you did this and you did that, and knowing good and well you didn't. Saying you were a manager when you were not a manager. I've seen that actually happen before. I know someone who told me they did that, and I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. But yeah, don't use that as a way to lie. We want to tell the truth, okay? We want to go in with a positive outlook into this job. If you get it based on a lie, you might have to get fired on a lie. That didn't make any sense. Lastly, number 3, please start asking questions in your interview, or at least at the end of your interview when they say, do you have any questions for me? Most people, myself included, we don't do that. It's literally like, oh, they answered everything that I think that they needed to answer about the actual job, and that's it. It's time for me to go. I'm already nervous. I've already been sitting here for 20 minutes. I'm a wreck. I'm trying to figure out if I got this job or not, or I have another interview on the way. Like, I'm just trying to get the heck out of this interview as fast as I can. Don't do that. Please ask questions. You should be asking questions to get to know the employer better and also to show interest in them. I was told this by a woman who helped me do my resume at one of those job sites. I can't remember what the heck they're called, but they are very popular back in North Carolina. It's like somewhere you go in and they do your resume for you, and you can apply to job boards on their computers. I don't know if it was a temp agency or what it was. Anyways, that's what she told me. You should be asking questions to get to know the employer better and also to show interest in them. So even if you don't have experience on the job, at least you're showing that you read up on them, you're willing to go the extra mile. It can also help you find out if the job is actually even a good fit for you. These are just a little bit of questions that I like to ask. What's the most challenging thing on the job? What are the uniform or dress code requirements? Where do most people move from this position in the company? Why is this position open? And one of my favorite questions to ask is, what do you most enjoy about working here, and how long have you been there or been here working at this job? Because that gets you to know the interviewer on a kind of personal level, and they see like, hey, like they're not only interested in just working here, they're being personable. Even if you're faking it till you make, even if you really don't care what's going on with the interviewer, but that's just me. I'm a people person. I love to know everything. So I want the tea, okay? I want the tea. Those are just a few of the questions that I like to ask. If you're curious how I actually, like my step-by-step process on how I actually landed the job, I will link a video to the top where I went like a step-by-step process on how I actually got the job. I might have to do an updated one for sure. Y'all, please let me know if you loved this video or enjoyed this video. Comment an emoji down below. Maybe the emoji where you're typing on your computer. I'm trying to reach my goal of having 50 comments on one of my videos. I think the most comments I've ever gotten on a video was about maybe 30 or 35. I've never reached over 50, so 50 would be great, you guys. Y'all love to yap, so please yap it up, even if it's just a period. Please comment, and thumbs up this video. Hopefully everyone has a great rest of the work week, and I'll see y'all in a future video.